Our next speaker, Tawanna Kane, brings a deep sense of calm in her wake as a registered yoga teacher and mindfulness-based stress reduction instructor. She shares strategies for calming the mind and reducing stress. An accomplished speaker, she resonates with a high variety of audiences, from stressed medical professionals to teachers, parents, and even children as young as 5 years old. Please welcome longtime LaunchPad speaker, Tawanna Kane.
Tell me what you pay attention to, and I will tell you who you are. Tell me what you pay attention to, and I will tell you who you are. That is a quote by Jose Ortega. And when I hear this, I immediately am aware of the fact that our attention has value. In a time of sensorial overload, when a majority of our population feels underrepresented, unheard, and unseen, at a time in our lives where we are completely inundated and saturated by media, images, and social platforms, there are so many competing demands on our attention. It's in these times that we need to be selective about where we place our attention, as not to overload and inform our being. It is difficult to focus our attention at times. We are living in unprecedented times, times where we are completely overloaded. And it's in these times that we need to think about our attention. We need to preserve our attention. Tell me what you pay attention to, and I will tell you who you are. So what is the value of our attention? People pay millions of dollars for it in a short Super Bowl advertisement. Our attention has value. What would you say if I told you we could work, build, strengthen our attention just like any other muscle in our body? I want you to take a few moments to think about where you place your attention in any given day, in any given moment. And then we'll talk more about how we can cultivate that attention for a very powerful inner transformation. So our attention as a muscle. As you know, muscles that are underworked can be weakened. And so we just need to think about how we work our attention, how we strengthen it, how we cultivate it. If you take the time to instill just small moments of space, 10 seconds, 30 seconds, 2 minutes throughout your day, you can create what we call a mindful moment. You can begin to cultivate, to strengthen your attention, to help build and cultivate awareness. Let's do a short exercise in attention. I have here a simple bowl. It sounds like this. I am going to ring this bowl a number of times. Your only job for the next minute is to count the number of times that I ring this bowl. There are a few caveats. Please don't count on your fingers. Please don't mouth the numbers, but just try to count them in your mind, in your head. Are you ready? Let's get started. So standing or sitting or being in a way that allows you to be comfortable in your body. If it feels like you would be able to focus more by closing your eyes, you are welcome to do so. but it is not at all necessary. So let's begin. Again, your only job is to count the number of times that I ring the bell. Let's get started. I acknowledge the first ring as 1. Please count silently to yourself from this point. And when you can no longer hear the bell, allowing your eyes to open if they were closed. So, what number did you get? Some may have gotten 10, some 20, some 3. I got 12. Now, I'm not always right. This is not perfection, it is a practice. But today I got 12, and I am almost certain that I rang the bell 12 times. Why does it matter? Why doesn't it matter? It's not so much getting the right number. She rang it 12 times. It's more about cultivating our attention. So when we realize that we are distracted by a thought, oh, I'm so hungry, what shall I eat for lunch? Oh, I really miss seeing that person. Oh, I've got this impending deadline that's looming over me. When we get distracted by life, when we get distracted by our thoughts, it's how quickly we can bring ourselves back to any given task at hand. For the last minute, your task was to count the number of times that I rang the bell. But we do get distracted, and that is okay. So again, it's not if you got the right number, but being able to notice at the exact point when you are distracted and to gently bring yourself back to the task at hand. If we can do this in our lives, in our professional careers, with our clients, with our students, with our family, imagine how powerful we can become. If we can cultivate and place our attention at will. Tell me what you pay attention to, and I will tell you who you are. Do you place your attention on watching the news 24/7? Do you place the attention on that strong hunger pain in your belly? If you do, eventually you will get overwhelmed by those media sources. You will get overtaken by this feeling of hunger. But if we can place our attention on things that bring spaciousness into our lives, we can grow stronger. So something that is spacious in my own life is my breath, right? It has the ability, the capacity to expand at any given moment. And so if I think about placing my attention on my breath, then I immediately become more spacious in my own being. I immediately become more spacious in my own mind. Tell me what you pay attention to, and I will tell you who you are. So, what we're doing through this exercise of paying attention, of counting bells, of noticing the strength of our attention, can be called mindfulness. What is mindfulness? Mindfulness is the aware, balanced acceptance of the present experience. It isn't more complicated than that. It is the opening to or receiving the present moment, pleasant or unpleasant, just as it is, without either clinging to it or rejecting it. So it's an ability to place our attention on what is actually happening in any given moment in our lives without wanting it to be different. How many times has that happened to you in your own life? Where you've been able to notice what's happening without trying to shift or change it, without holding tight because it felt so good, or completely shunning it because it was so painful. Mindfulness gives us the ability to be with what is. Another word for this is present moment awareness. Present moment awareness. It is the cultivation, the strengthening of our attention and awareness. Tell me who you pay attention to, and I will tell you who you are. And so mindfulness is a step-by-step process. It doesn't happen overnight. It's not magic. It's a practice. And we find these mini moments in our lives to infuse a little bit of mindfulness, to infuse a little bit of time where we actually focus on our attention, where we strengthen our mind, our body, our being. So in any given moment, we can practice what we call stop, where we stop, take a breath, observe what's happening. Am I distracted? Am I present? Am I overrun by emotions? And then just proceed with that new awareness that we cultivated in that 15 or 20 seconds. So the next time you're in a meeting and you're sitting virtually with your colleagues or perhaps in person, and you begin to build stories about what that person thinks of you or how people might not like what you just said, there's a great moment to just stop, to take a breath, to notice those stories that you're building without even really knowing if they're based in fact, and then to proceed in the meeting with a little bit less stress, with a little bit less sense of held tension around what ifs. So when you stop paying attention to what others think of you and you focus on yourself through this stop moment, not only do we cultivate our awareness, but we immediately shift the moment. It is not about what's happening outside ourselves. It's about what's happening inside and building that sense of strength inside so that when we are ready to interact with our colleagues, when we are ready to talk, we do it with clarity and we do it with love for ourselves and even for those that we are in the meeting with. There are times where we might practice mindfulness where we are not at all present. We are in the moment, wondering if we're in the moment, also thinking about being hungry, wondering what we should be doing. Or we sit in a mindful moment and we try to push away thoughts. That is antithetical to how we are as human beings. right? Our mind is constantly building thoughts. It's constantly connecting, right? And we are not trying to stop thought. The cessation of thoughts is not possible. What we are trying to do is build awareness of what we're thinking and noticing when we become distracted from the task at hand. So for these two people that we see on our screen here, they are both seated and perhaps having some type of mindful moment, but their mind is everywhere. Just like in that meeting, your mind was everywhere. Notice when you're distracted and bring yourself back to the task at hand, whether it's counting a bell, paying attention to your breath, or listening to a colleague speak. So there is a bit of action in mindfulness as well. We're cultivating a muscle, right? So you go to the gym or you work out in your home and you're building your muscles. So another way that we can build the muscle of our attention is through creating intentions. So intentions just give you something to reach for. Attentions keep you on track. Intentions remind you of who you are. They're a little different from a goal, but they give us a way of framing the way we move forward in our lives. And so we are cultivating, it's a simultaneous path of cultivating attention and building intention. So I might intend to live my life with gratitude, right? To show appreciation when I walk out the door for the sound of a bird, when I see my neighbor and get a smile from across the street, when I come home from work or come out of my office from work and I get a smile from one of my children, right? These are things that I can use in my intention of cultivating my personal gratitude in life. So your intention is overarching. It's something that's going to encompass your entire life. And it can shift, it can change. You can have multiple intentions simultaneously. But when I wake up in the morning, I think about my intention. As I go to sleep at night, I think about my intention. As I'm driving in my car or taking a walk down the street, I think about my intention. I build it, I shift it, I change it so that it feels current and relevant in my life. And then I make sure that I'm placing my attention on my intention. Because together, they build this present moment awareness. They cultivate this mindfulness, right? They allow us to know that what we are paying attention to is of value to us, right? And it matches with how we live our lives. Tell me what you pay attention to, and I will tell you who you are. So for the next 90 seconds, we're going to pay attention to our body. Our body is something that we have with us at all times. It's something that supports us in our days, in our lives. And often we don't give it much attention until it starts to speak to us through an achy back or through sore legs. But if we give our body a little bit of attention, again, we just begin to cultivate this sense of awareness that's spreading through us, that's creating this inner transformation. So, sitting or standing in a way that allows you to feel at ease, comfortable, and just starting with feeling your feet on the floor, whether you're seated or standing. If you're wearing shoes or socks, notice how the shoes or socks hug the feet. Notice if your toes are curled up or relaxed. Continue to pay attention to your body as you move into your ankles and legs, noticing any sensations in the legs and the feet. Continuing to place awareness in the body as we bring attention to our knees, noticing any sense of achiness or freedom. And if you feel achy, what is that like? Is it like pins and needles? Is it sharp? Sometimes when we give a label to our experience, it helps to lessen it, right? Our attention on it lessens, our ability to be with it increases. Here again, we have the power of attention. Exhale a nice deep breath out. Inhaling in and drawing the attention to the lower back and belly. Noticing if the belly is held. Noticing if there's a sense of achiness in the back. And inviting the breath into the belly, inviting the breath into the lower back as you notice sensation. As we scan through our body, what you may be most aware of is the lack of sensation, and that is okay. Just being where you are. There's space for you. Taking in a nice deep breath, exhaling completely, and placing your attention on your chest, allowing that attention to cascade over the shoulders and upper back, allowing that attention to focus in on the arms, elbows, forearms, wrists, and hands. And again, just noticing sensation in these areas of our body. How are my arms feeling today? Allowing that field of awareness to continue to move up the body into the neck, into the face, the chin, the mouth, the nose, the eyes, forehead, top of the head, back of the head, full neck. And again, just noticing sensation. What are you most aware of? And taking in a nice breath here and sensing your body as a whole. From the tips of your fingers, to the tips of your toes, to the top of your head. Whole body present. And tapping in, even if just a little bit, to your capacity to be whole in your life. Your capacity not to have your attention split. It is possible through the strategic cultivation of our awareness. Let's take one more deep breath together. And then release. So in this moment, we have moved through our bodies and what we call a body scan. So just notice what's happening for you right now. Physically, you're present. You're here with me. We are having this experience together. But where's your mind right now? What are you thinking about? What thoughts are moving through? What to-do lists are running down? What feelings are showing up? What judgments, if any, are present about what I'm saying, about this experience? All of this, all of these questions help to cultivate this awareness. All of these questions allow us to choose where we place our attention. Tell me what you pay attention to. and I will tell you who you are. So we've spent a few moments here together with the stop practice. Stop, take a breath, observe what's happening, and then proceed. We've spent a little bit of time counting the bell, cultivating our awareness. And we spent a few moments doing a body scan, building awareness of how our physical body is doing. These can all be seen as mindful moments, but it also gives us an opportunity to infuse a little bit of self-care into our lives. Did the immediate thought come up? I don't have time for self-care. I've got too many things to do, too many people to take care of, too many things to be worried about. And living through a global pandemic has made it even more so, right? More things to worry about, more people to worry about, more separation to feel in our hearts. There is no greater time to take care of ourselves. There is no greater time to build ourselves up so that when we can go out, we do it with focus. We do it with a resonant intention. And we are acutely aware of our ability to place our attention on the things that really matter. Self-care is not selfish. You cannot serve from an empty vessel. I cannot pour water from a pitcher that is empty. And so even these moments of 15 seconds, 90 seconds, 3 minutes can begin to fill that vessel, fill yourself, so that when we come out, this inner transformation that we are cultivating can shine forward and also be of service to others. So I want to just close our time together with a poem by Derek Walcott. The time will come when with elation, you will greet yourself, arriving at your own door, in your own mirror, and each will smile at the other's welcome and say, sit here, eat. You will love again the stranger who was yourself. Give wine, give bread, give back your heart to itself, to the stranger who has loved you all your life, whom you ignored for another, who knows you by heart. Take down the love letters from the bookshelf, the photographs, the desperate notes. Peel your own image from the mirror. Sit. Feast on your life. We have an opportunity as we begin to think about mindfulness and how it might be infused into our personal lives, our professional lives, our schools, our businesses, but knowing that it starts with self, right? We cannot serve from an empty vessel. So taking a moment to give yourself some love, taking a moment to acknowledge yourself, and knowing that that will only strengthen how you show up in the world. It will only strengthen your ability to pay attention. When we become acutely aware of our own physical sensations, our own feelings, our own thoughts, we can become that more sensitive to the thoughts and the feelings of others. So the next time you walk outside, the next time you come inside, notice something about your home. Notice something about the outside that you may not have noticed before. Take time to build your awareness in each moment. Choose where you place your attention, be it on a flower or a sound of a bird or the smile of a loved one over Zoom. Just being very aware of who and what we give our attention to and knowing that it has immense value. Tell me what you pay attention to, and I will tell you who you are. So, the benefits of mindfulness beyond those that you may have experienced through our time together, it helps you to create a positive and calm environment. When you spend these moments of quiet building awareness, you can respond with greater creativity. You become more flexible in your being. You're able to model curiosity, acceptance, and inquiry, just like we did with our knees. What is this sensation like? You become more present with yourself and those around you. There are times when we can become less emotionally reactive. We maintain our focus. We are building and strengthening our awareness and practicing patience and self-compassion, and ultimately reducing burnout, whether that's in our lives as a caregiver, whether that's professionally in our lives, just being able to be with what is. So I thank you again for your time. I thank you again for giving me your attention. I know it has value. If you have any questions that I can answer, here's a way that you can reach me either through my Facebook page at Tawanna Kane Mindfulness. You can also find me on innerresourcesproject.com. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your attention. May you be well.